Do not let evil set the tone of your soul. Some mornings, leadership starts before you even stand up. You open your laptop at your early morning desk, and one message changes the feel of the day. A sharp email, a public jab, a client who suddenly questions your integrity. You did not go looking for the tension, but it found you anyway. In that moment, the pull is not usually toward obvious sin. It is toward something that feels sensible. Protect yourself. Prove your case. Tighten your grip. Return the same heat. You can tell yourself you are being decisive, but if you listen closely, you will hear something else underneath it. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:21, NIV. That verse does not live in the clouds. It lives in inboxes, meeting rooms, contracts, comment threads, and hard conversations with people you cannot ignore. It calls you to resist the subtle takeover, the kind where someone else's wrong starts writing your next move. When pressure pushes your buttons, what takes the wheel? Let us talk about what happens inside you first, because that is where it starts. Your chest tightens, your mind speeds up. You rehearse the reply. You picture the moment they realize they messed with the wrong person. You want relief, and retaliation promises it fast. Romans 12:21 points you to a different kind of strength, the kind that refuses to let someone else's mess decide your mood, your words, and your next decision. You can deliver a clean correction without turning cold. You can defend what is true without becoming someone who enjoys cutting people down. Here is a simple practice that changes the moment. When you feel the surge, stop for 10 seconds and name the temptation in plain language. I want to hit back. That honest naming does not fix everything, but it slows you down enough to choose instead of react. The quiet way evil wins before you ever say a word. Evil does not always win by knocking you flat. Sometimes it wins by getting access to your tone. It trains you to live tense, suspicious, and ready to strike. You still show up to work. You still get things done. But you notice you have less patience, less joy, and less softness in places where you used to carry light. In the beginning, God called what he made very good. Goodness was not a marketing term. It was the original shape of life under God's care. When humanity doubted God's trustworthiness, that goodness cracked, and every generation has lived in the fallout. You see it in systems, and you see it in your own reflexes. This is where a new emotional angle matters, especially for leaders. Sometimes you are not just angry. You are tired. You are worn down by the drip of criticism, the endless demands, the feeling that no matter how much you give, someone still expects more. That fatigue can make you careless with your responses. And the enemy loves tired leaders because tired leaders stop watching the door of their own heart. So add this step today. Check your body before you check your inbox. Eat. Breathe. Take a short walk. Ask God for steadiness before you ask him for solutions. Weariness does not excuse sin, but it does explain why your guard drops. Build with good. Integrity that holds under load. If evil wants to fracture what is good, then your response has to do more than avoid damage. It has to rebuild. That is why construction fits this passage so well. Your leadership life is a structure, and pressure reveals what it is made of. When stress hits, weak materials crack. When conflict hits, cheap shortcuts show up. When someone wrongs you, you discover whether your foundation holds. Goodness is not soft sentiment. Goodness is the decision to use the right materials even when the schedule is tight. It looks like honesty when spin would be easier. It looks like patience when snapping would feel satisfying. It looks like clarity when passive aggression would keep you safe. It looks like refusing to use people as tools, even when you can. Goodness becomes your framing, not your finish work. A practical way to build this is to decide your standard before the situation heats up. Write a short sentence you can return to when you feel reactive. I will tell the truth without contempt. Or, I will protect my team without punishing people. That sentence becomes a stud in the wall, something solid you can attach your next choice to. Client conflict without compromise. The good move in a hard moment. Now let us bring this into a vivid moment you have probably lived. You are at your early morning desk. Coffee sits nearby, cooling. Your email thread is open, and a client replies all. They question your competence. They imply you misled them. They pull your team into it with a few sharp lines that feel designed to embarrass you. Your fingers hover over the keyboard. Your mind starts assembling evidence like lumber stacked for a quick build. You can craft a response that wins the moment, and you know exactly how to do it. Then you remember the goal is not winning the moment. The goal is refusing to let someone else's wrongdoing become the blueprint for your behavior. So you slow down. You pray one honest sentence. Jesus, keep my hands clean. Then you choose what good looks like in this specific situation. You acknowledge the client's frustration without groveling. You clarify the facts without flexing. You take responsibility for what is yours without carrying what is not. You protect your team by keeping the tone calm and direct. You offer a next step that moves the work forward and restores trust where it can be restored. You still draw a line if the client's tone stays abusive, because goodness does not mean you tolerate harm. It means you refuse to answer harm with harm. You move the conversation to a call, not because you are avoiding, but because you are building a cleaner path to resolution. And if the client walks away anyway, you do not have to replay the thread all day wondering if you crossed a line. You can move on with a steady conscience because you used solid materials. Home and heart. Practicing good where no one applauds. Public pressure exposes what is inside you, but private habits form it. If you want to respond with good in public, you have to practice it in quiet places. Sometimes the evil you face is not a loud attack. It is the slow drift in your own heart, the resentment you keep feeding, the story you keep telling yourself about why your sharpness is justified, the way you start treating people like problems to manage instead of image bearers to love. So take one small act of good and plant it where your old patterns live. If you have been short with your spouse, apologize before the day ends. If you have been distant with a team member, schedule a brief check-in and actually listen. If you have been tempted to punish someone with silence, send a clear message that names the issue without shaming the person. This is how repair begins. Goodness often looks unimpressive, but it is steady work. It is tightening the bolts, sealing the cracks, and keeping the foundation from shifting. The marketplace meets the kingdom, winning without becoming what you hate. Here's the tension for faith-based leaders. You want excellence, you want growth, you want to protect what you are building. And you live in a world where manipulation is called strategy, where harshness is called strength, and where cutting corners is called speed. Romans 12:21 refuses to let you separate faith from work. Your methods shape your soul. Your tone shapes your team. Your choices shape your culture, and culture shapes everything else. You cannot keep using rotten materials and expect the structure to stay healthy. Yes, there is an enemy who wants to confuse, divide, and dismantle. But God's heart is to redeem, revive, and restore. God puts broken things back together, and He can start with you, right in the middle of real pressure. So make your call to action specific. The next time you feel provoked, do not ask, "How do I shut this down?" Ask, "What is the most constructive good I can do right now?" Then do it quickly, before your emotions start redesigning the plan. Speak the truth plainly. Take the next right step. Protect people without turning cruel. Choose the clean path, even if it costs you time. You will not control every outcome, but you can control what you build with. Do the next good thing while you still want to do the other thing.